is Shadow Retro, and it has been a while since I've posted. I've been busy, but I do have a bunch of different ideas that I want to do, so let's get straight into this video. This video will be the basics of health, armor, and shields for Warframes. It's basically going to be a counterpart to the basics of damage video I already did. So this one is going to be like the Warframe class 101 on how to survive, and later I will release a video that is how to survive, that will go in specific strategies on how to survive and how to utilize health, shields, armor, and Overguard actually to properly survive. But this video will just be clearly defining exactly how health, armor, shields, and Overguard works in the game. So we won't actually be talking about any survivability tactics. This will just be like a prerequisite in a way to understanding what these are. And this is catered towards people that just picked up the game. So even if you're still a new player, but you're like around Saturn or something, you probably have already figured most of this stuff out. So this is for someone who hasn't played the game or at all, just started playing the game, or is still like trying to figure it out. So this is very targeted towards a new player. This video is also unscripted, which is something I don't normally do. So if I leave out information, I'm sorry. And if I say something accidentally that is actually wrong, I am also sorry. I just needed to get this video out because it's been 12 days since I uploaded a video. So yes, there are 4 health types in Warframe that, as far as Warframes are concerned, and it is just health, shields, armor, and something called Overguard. So let's get into it by starting straight off with health. In the top left right corner of your screen, you will see the 2 health bars, the red one and the blue one. You can change their colors in the settings, but that's what the default is. The health one, or the red one, that's on the right, is your health. If you run out of health, you die. As simple as that. Health has no damage reduction. It has no, so it has no inbuilt damage reduction, no inbuilt healing, no inbuilt gating mechanics or anything like that. Health is literally just a number. If it runs out, you're dead. Nothing more to it. Of course, there are tons of different ways in the game to heal you, but health on its own doesn't have any health regen. Before we get on to shields, which is that second health bar that is to the left of the health one, the blue one, let's first talk about armor. Armor is considered a health type, but you don't see it in the top right with your other health types. Armor is a damage reduction that you get only for health. So depending on how much armor you have is how much damage reduction your health will get. The base armor that any Warframe will have, the minimum armor Warframes can have, is 100, which works out to be exactly 25% damage reduction. If you want to know the equation on how to figure out how much damage reduction you have with how much armor you have, it's actually really simple. All it is your armor value divided by your armor value plus 300. So if you have 100 health, it would be divided by 400, because 100 plus 300 is 400, and then that will give you a decimal number, so you just times it by 100 to convert it to a percentage, and then that's how much your damage reduction is. For knowledge though, you'll get 50% damage reduction at 300 armor, but then armor has what's called diminishing returns, so the more armor you have, the less you get back from it. So while you go from 25% reduction to 50% reduction just by increasing your armor by 200 from 100 to 300, if you jump all the way up to 1000, which is a 700 difference, you'll only be sitting at around like, I think it's like 76% damage reduction, and then I think only like 1500 is probably only like 77 or like 78 or something. So the more armor you have, it starts to increase less. And it was actually talked about in the recent dev video. One of the devs referred to it as very top heavy, I think he said. Basically means that you get a lot of armor quickly and then you start to lose your returns from it. So that's basically armor. It just gives you a damage reduction for your health. So moving on to shields. Shields are the blue health bar right next to health. Shields are basically just a second health bar, but they have additional effects that health doesn't have. First of all, if you have shields, any damage you take will not go to your health. There is one health type that will actually bypass shields, but generally speaking, if you have your shields activated, your shields will be damaged before your health bar. Addition to this, shields have something called shield gating. What this means is when your shields fully deplete, any excess damage that should have followed through to your health is negated. So say you have 100 shields and you take 1000 points of damage, you will only take 100 points of damage to your shields, and then the extra 900 damage that you should have had gets negated because of the way shield gating works. In addition to this, when your shield gate activates, you'll also get a period of invulnerability that ranges from 0.33 seconds all the way up to 2.5 seconds. And how long your period of invulnerability is dependent on what your modded max shields are. So if you sit around 1115 shields, you'll get that 2.5 seconds. But if you have a lower end of shields, you'll have a lower duration. And if your shields fully deplete, you won't immediately get that duration straight away again. Your shields will need to fully restore before getting the full duration if your shield gate works again. But if while your shields are restoring, so say they get 50% of the way before they fully restore and then they get fully depleted again, reactivating the shield gate, you will receive 50% of the duration of whatever your shield gate period is. So that's how the shield gate mechanic works. In addition to this, shields also have a baseline 50% damage reduction. So health doesn't have any inherent damage reduction, but it gets its damage reduction from armor, because armor will only give damage reduction to health. Shields do not benefit from it, meaning you can have multiple different variants of damage reductions depending on your frame's base armor or the way you mod the frame. Shields just have a flatline 50%, and you can't increase that in any way. You can add additional damage reductions on top of it, but that 50% damage reduction that shields inherently have cannot be decreased or increased, just 50%. Something else shields have that health doesn't have is inherent regeneration. So when your shields take damage, there will be a delay for 1 second, and then they'll start to regen again. If your shields get fully depleted, however, there will be a delay for 4 seconds, and then your shields will start to regenerate again. Basically, there is a delay before they regen, but your shields will naturally heal where your health won't. You'll need to seek outside sources to heal health, but shields, you don't need that. With health, you need to seek outside sources for damage reduction, mainly being armor. Shields has inherent damage reduction, and shields will stop any of that excess damage going to your health and give you a bit of iframes depending on how much shields you have as well. So shields are really good. And then the last health type, the last thing that shields have is something called Overshields. So you have your max modded shield value, and that's what your shields will naturally regen to. But there are a bunch of different abilities and mods and other things that can take your shield value above your max modded shields. When this happens, your shield bar will become purple. Again, you can change the color of this, but this is the default setting. So yeah, your shield bar will become purple, and that's what's called Overshields. Overshields won't increase your shield gate duration or anything like that. It will simply just give you more shields, and you can have up to 1,200 Overshields on any Warframe that has shields. The only exception to this is Harrow, who can actually have 2,400 Overshields. What this means is if your Warframe only has modded 300 shields, you can actually have up to 1,500 shields, because you can get an additional 1,200 on top of your max modded value thanks to Overshields. Overshields don't naturally regenerate like shields do, so if you take damage when you have Overshields, but it doesn't fully deplete your Overshield, so you still have it, not taking damage won't make it regen back to the max amount. That's not how it works. Your regen will only go as far as your max modded shields, and it won't go above that. Of course, there are certain stuff in the game that can change that, but generally speaking, your regen will not go over your max modded value. You need to seek outside sources to get Overshields, and the Overshields will still keep the 50% damage reduction, but they won't increase the duration of your shield gate or anything like that. So your shield gate will still be based around your modded max shields. So say you have 300 shields, you'll probably be sitting around the 1.3 range in terms of your shield gate duration. So even if you do get to that 1500 overshield value. If your shields fully deplete, you'll still only get around a 1.3 second duration, not the 2.5 second or anything like that. It goes off your max modded shields. I know I kind of repeated that a few times, but I did want to like kind of make sure that point came across. Now the last health type in the game is something called Overguard. Not every Warframe can have Overguard. There are two circumstances that are ways you can put Overguard on any Warframe. However, one only works in a specific mission type called the Circuit, the other one, or the Devoury missions, and the other one only works in the open world. Actually, I did just forget, there's also arc guns now. When you deploy them on your Warframe, you'll get Overguard. But then there's also a bunch of other Warframes that have abilities. I think there's like 6 of them now that have abilities that will give either just themselves or themselves and allies Overguard. The way Overguard works is it's basically a third health bar on top of your shields and health. And while you have Overguard, neither your shields or health will take any damage. I don't think Overguard has any inherent damage reduction. They probably do, but I'm not sure what it is. But Overguard also gives some additional... Overguard also isn't affected by armor, just like shields. Armor is only for health. But Overguard does come with some additional buffs. For one, it will grant you status effect immunity. What this means is certain enemies can apply status effects, like say a heat status effect, which will deal damage to you over time. Overguard will prevent you from being infected by any of that, which is a really good buff. It will also give you what's called a knockback immunity, because knockback is actually a status effect, but knockback immunity is really good because any time you get like pushed over or ragdolled by an enemy can really affect your gameplay and break the flow of the game, so it's not really something you want to mess with. And even if you're using an AoE weapon, your own weapon can actually knock you back. So Overguard will prevent you from having to deal with any of that. There are other ways to stop yourself from dealing with that, but Overguard is a very nice and simple way to stop yourself from dealing with that. So it is... Additionally, Overguard will also have Overguard gating, which works the same as shield gating. When your Overguard breaks, any excess damage that would have gone to your shields or health will be negated, and you will be given a period of 0.5 seconds of invulnerability. So where the shield gate one ranges depending on your modded max shields, Overgate is fixed at 0.5, and this makes sense because Overguard isn't a natural thing. You get it through abilities, so you don't really have a modded max Overguard. You can only have Overguard through abilities. Most abilities do have a cap, but it does make sense that the Overguard gate is fixed at 0.5 seconds. Overguard in general is really good though, because it will give you those 2 levels of gating, so it gives you a lot of protection for your health. It also protects your health and shields from taking any damage as long as you have it, and it gives you that status effect, status immunity, and knockback immunity. So Overguard is a really cool thing to have. So that is the core, very fundamental basics of health, shields, armor, and Overguard. And I will be making another video explaining how to utilize these 4 different things along with some other abilities to survive in the game. But like I said, this video was targeted specifically for people that are very, very, very new to the game, that are still trying to wrap their head around it and might be a bit confused on how the different health types and mechanics work in the game. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please go check out my other stuff. While I haven't been uploading on this video for like 2 weeks, I have been uploading on my second video channel, which is just a regular Let's Play channel, so do check that out. I just play some games with my friends. It's more of just a side hobby than anything. I also have a Discord, a clan Discord. You can come talk about the game with us or join our clan. We also have a really active alliance, so you can participate in the alliance Discord as well. So check all that out. All that will be in the description below. But until next time, bye bye.